How you look talking about feeding 5,000 people? How you look talking about healing these folks? But what did he do? He just listened to the Most High and said, this is what we're going to do. Gonna pick up some mud and slap it on his eyes. You know, Hasatan was in his ear. You look crazy out here putting mud on a man's eye, spitting in his eye. But what did he do? He did what his father told him. See, he had belief in his father's voice. Just like, I'm sure he read up on the fellow that had to go and bathe in the river and dip 7 times in the dirtiest river. You're like, why couldn't he ask me to dip in one of my rivers back at home? Probably because it didn't have the mineral setup that it did in that dirty one that he told you to go bathe in. That was probably the river that had the minerals that you needed to heal your skin. But we don't look at things like that. But Ephesians 2:10 tells us how we're to act and why. For we are his workmanship created in Mashiach Yahusha unto good works, which Yahuwah had ordained that we should walk in them before the beginning of time. We're supposed to be casting these devils out, hitting them across the head with that word, and putting them on the run. And another text says that we would step on scorpions. We'll put it in the recording. But let's look there at Ephesians 6:12. And this is out of the 1599 Geneva Bible. And we know that they have changed up some of the text, but they couldn't change up the overall message. That we are the Most High's chosen people. We was hard-headed, so he cast us out of our homeland that he gave us. And now we're in slavery and oppression for the 7th time. But this is our last bondage that we'll be in, where he will bring us back into the land. He's awakened us to the truth of who we are, and we're spreading that word. And it's taking off like a wildfire. And of course we have agents in the house trying to fight against the Most High for the corn, like Judas. They were like, well, pay me, I say whatever you want me to say. They don't love the Most High. But this is how we're supposed to fight, and against whom we're supposed to fight. And family, had you noticed, well, I want you to remember this, that Hasatan told Yahusha, if you bow down before me, I'll give you all these kingdoms. Now let's look at this script now with that in mind. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against the worldly governors, the princes of the darkness of this world, against Ruachal wickedness who are in high places. So are these the same high places that Hasatan took Yahusha up to scope out? And say, I'll give you all of this if you bow down and serve me. Same ones, same physical high places. The same seats of power. It said the governors of this world, the worldly governors who are the princes of darkness of this world. They're the princesses of darkness, and they're the spiritual wickedness. They're the Ruachal wickedness, which are in high places. They're what you call the principalities seated in these high places. They have a Ruachal principality seated over them to keep them in line. Just as the Most High gives us angels in charge of us to keep us in all our ways, Hasatan gives his agents, his fallen angels, to keep them in their ways, to keep them in line, to keep them from getting a soft heart. So when they start getting the soft heart, they take them out. But this is who we're warring against, family. And at this point, we are warring against them ruachally. But it's coming to a point where they have to be ousted from off them seats, physically. And a lot of it may be by the convincing of the Most High to remove the individual or to change their hearts, irregardless of what they face. And we see this in Daniel 6:26 through 27. I hereby decree that every part of my kingdom men are to tremble in fear before Yahuwah, the Elohim of Daniel. For he is the living Elohim, and he endures forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed, and his dominion will never end. He delivers and rescues. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. For he has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. Uh-oh. Now how could this fella speak so enthusiastically with such conviction? Please tell me. That's easy. He's seen what them lions can do. He done sent folks to the lions before. He said off with them to the lions. Throw them in the den. And they sat there and watched how the lions have snatched these people up. And at the same time, we see that because the king ordered that those fellas that had tricked him, that him and all their families be thrown in the lion's den. And the text says that the lions were so ferocious that they snatched the folks up before they even hit the ground. They done snatched them up and ate them. That lets you know that they should have snatched up little Daniel and ate him up, right? No, the Most High closed the lion's mouth. That's why the king was so emphatic about Yahuwah, the living Elohim. And he saw Daniel's tenacity and his what's the word? It's definitely tenacity and consistency. Even when the decree was placed out there by trickery that he shouldn't pray to no other Elohim but the king. Daniel said not so. He went and opened his window and started praying out the window so everybody can see and hear. He was like, I defy that Hasatan. I'm not afraid. In Proverbs 21:1, it says the king's heart is a waterway in the hand of Yahuwah. He directs it where he pleases. And that's what we were saying. See, sometimes it takes the Most High changing an individual's heart. We can't change them. All we can do is be consistent and keep that tenacity to do what he tells us to do. No, I'm going to serve the Most High. I'm going to do what's right. I know where I come from. I know where I was. And I know where I would be today if it weren't for him. So I owe. I owe. And then that I owe feeling starts to become a responsibility. This is my Father's kingdom. And finally, we're going to look at Isaiah 45:1-4. And we all can put ourselves in this position. This is what Yahuwah says to Cyrus, his anointed, whose right hand I have grasped to subdue nations before him, to disarm kings, governors, and high places, to open the doors before him so that the gates would not be shut. I would go before him and level the mountains. Once again, this is the mountains of them high places. These rulers, the seated places. When it speaks on mountains, a lot of times it's speaking of the authority in high places, the rulers, the governors, the kings. I will break down the gates of bronze and cut through the bars of iron. I will give you the treasures of darkness and the hidden riches and the riches hidden in secret places, so that you may know that I am Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yasharal, who calls you by name. And that's what he did, family. He said, Robert, I got something for you I want you to do. I said, yes, sir, I owe whatever you have me to do. He said, give me 20 minutes a day. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep telling your testimony. Give me 20 minutes a day. I said, yes, sir, I will.